Hi, I'm Kamal Miller, and in my speech today, I intend to inform you about poverty in Syracuse. From Tops grocery store to the other side of Highway I-81 is about a 5-minute drive. On this drive, you'll encounter many things, such as middle-class housing, Syracuse University student apartments, Manley Fieldhouse, more Syracuse off-campus housing, I-81, and boom, you're in the heart of the 29th poorest city in the nation. Syracuse also has the nation's highest poverty concentrated among black and Hispanics, beating Detroit and Toledo. Poverty in Syracuse affects the reputation of a city which holds a prestigious university in all categories. Deep poverty in Syracuse develops a negative stigma about the university. The three main points of my speech are the origins of poverty in Syracuse, how poverty affects SU students, and how poverty in Syracuse affects the children. Believe it or not, the history of poverty in Syracuse dates back to 1956 with the building of Highway I-81. Next came 1969, where the city of Syracuse poverty rank was 72nd in the nation of cities with a population of 100,000 or more. 14% of residents lived in poverty at this time. In 2016, over 33% of Syracuse residents are living in poverty and below the federal poverty line. Racial barriers are also responsible for poverty in Syracuse. Although there are a lot of white people who live in poverty in Syracuse, most of the population that lives in poverty is either black or Hispanic. As the nation becomes wealthier, Syracuse is on the decline and is getting worse as the years go on. There is a lot of generational poverty here. Generational poverty are challenges that people face every day. Their lights get shut off, they have no food, money, diapers for their children, infestations in their home, or they get sick. The people of Syracuse feel like there is no solution to fix the levels of poverty they face every day. Overall, the levels of poverty that people living with in Syracuse is mind-blowing. This is not an issue that happened over a few years, but has been carried out by risky projects such as the building of I-81 and Destiny Mall in order to lift people out of poverty and above the poverty line. Poverty in Syracuse doesn't only affect permanent residents, but also students of Syracuse University who pay full tuition to further their education and dedicate the next 4 years of their lives to a place where they feel completely comfortable and becoming successful after college. When a student is on the college tour here, they have boxes to check off: safety, academic support, and possibly athletics. Syracuse is a prestigious university that fits all of these boxes. One thing that students aren't shown on their tours but are told when they get here is to stay away from certain areas. Many times I've been told by teachers to never walk alone at night or to leave campus alone. I was also told to never cross the other side of I-81. This really got to me because this is walking distance from where I sleep every night. The dangers that come with going to Syracuse University can affect and disrupt a student's academic success. 2 or 3 times a week, we see an orange alert on our phone which has a subject box that reads armed robbery, sexual assault, or fatal shooting just outside of campus. Unfortunately, this is the reality that Syracuse University students may go through during their time at SU. These students are at a high disadvantage because before they even know it, they are being affected and their academic progress is being hindered. Although SU students of higher learning are affected by the extreme levels of poverty in Syracuse, unfortunately, they do not suffer the most from poverty. The biggest issue of poverty in Syracuse is how bad the youth are affected. 1 in every 2 children in Syracuse live in poverty. This means half of the children in the city face staggering levels of poverty every day. This is over 17,000 children. The deep levels of poverty affect a children's academic development, cognitive development, and in the end puts them through a cycle that will find them in the same situation as their parents. Without the correct resources, these kids will never individually be able to lift themselves out of poverty. The state of public schools in Syracuse are terrible. They are reducing snack programs, recess, and after school programs which keep these children out of trouble and give them something to look forward to. The access of school is also an issue. Sometimes parents are simply not able to bring their children to Syracuse. Instead of tackling issues and making changes, the residents of Syracuse often find themselves alone and left out to hang. They do not see a way out of poverty because nobody of higher power believes in them or is willing to make the difference simply because the problem is too complex. We can't continue to lie to ourselves that the issue of poverty does not impact lives of people, especially the children who are the future of the nation. The issues cannot be left to higher power because instead of helping, they find ways to criticize the people who live in poverty and always find a way to blame them. The poverty in Syracuse is getting worse as the years go by. More and more people are finding themselves below the federal poverty line and are struggling to make ends meet. Residents of Syracuse University students, and most importantly, the children, are affected by poverty. The negative stigma of poverty in Syracuse needs to be undone for changes to be seen. Government officials cannot keep pushing aside the issue and have to work with residents to tackle these problems. Thank you.